Hello, hello, hello. Well, here we are again. And I'm trying to get on the website. There we are. Here we go. We're live. Wait for a few people to come in. Anywho, let's see here, make sure my volume's all the way up. And this one's all the way down. So this week's talk is going to be about the weather, events, and the power of the masters. So what brought me to come up with this subject is, of course, reading through the visits, and I noticed a visit back in 1998 where Joe was married to Donna at the time. This was quite a while back, and what happened was Donna was going to run some errands or going to work or something like that, and there was a storm. It was a pretty bad storm, and Joe had said a little prayer before she left. And hi, Marnie. Marlene. Joe had done a little prayer before he left, and the clouds had gone and just sort of went away from where she was going. So this was a visit back in 97, 98-ish. And so as soon as Joe was kind of muttering to himself that, well, I'm not that powerful. It was just a matter of luck. And Michael had said, why would you have such little faith in yourself? And when he said that, it kind of gave me a idea about, hi Regina, gave me an idea about the power of the masters, okay, and what we can do as a group. Now, this isn't the only time that weather has come up during the visits, and a couple other times. Like, the one that stands out in my mind the most is when we had that big tsunami that was caused by an earthquake. I don't remember if it was, I think it was Indonesia. And there were these huge tsunamis that were coming through, and Michael was talking about the state of the world and how we were coming together to balance the world. And as the world becomes unbalanced, let's say the world takes, we take 100,000 lives during a war, the earth will balance itself out by removing the same amount. And he gave the indication that the masters have control over this. Now, we've talked in the past about, Common Passion used to do some of or they still do, they do meditations in certain areas, and they affect certain areas and stuff like that. Now, what gave me the idea to bring this subject up is because when we come together as a group in formation, the power we wield is not just for the certain area that we're in. It affects the entire planet. So we're not limiting what the masters are doing to just one specific little area. And I find it very important that we kind of look at this and see that what we can do as masters, and when we come together once a year in June for the very short 4 days that we do come together, the power that we can wield as a group is huge. Now, right now, we've got some things going on the planet that not a lot of us are very happy about. It's incredible what's going on. Just turn on the news, you'll see what's going on. I'm not getting involved in any of the political stuff, although I do post things on my site. I'm not going to talk to you guys about it. It's kind of arbitrary. Anyhow, but what I will talk to you guys about is the power that you carry and what you can do to help do something about it in your world. Come to the event. It really makes a big, huge difference. You know, I was looking at my notes. Sometimes I'll write notes. Hey, Jack, how you doing, buddy? So in the beginning of this, you guys will have to go back and see the beginning. I was talking about a couple of the weather patterns that we have actually come up. Michael had expressed that the masters that we can actually do something about it. Now, this time that we're in right now, if you read the Revelation, we're in that time right now. And there's all kinds of things happening. I can't at the moment verbatim what it is, but if you read the Revelation again, you'll notice we're in the middle of it right now. We're after the part where they poured the bowls and stuff like that. So the masters have something that they can bring to the table. What you can do as, you know, beacons of light while you're at home waiting to go to the event or figuring out if you can participate at the event is dig into the basic teachings and dig out your forks, dig out your oils. You can tune yourself on a regular basis. It is highly recommended. You can, hey Brian, thanks, you called me too, huh? You can go through some of the processes that we went through years ago, like the 7-day anointing process with the oils. You want to acclimate yourself with that. You want to make sure you get the sandalphon oil on you after you get gathered, you know, that kind of thing. Or make sure that the masters that you gather have those things available. The main reason why I brought up the idea of the weather patterns and what Michael had said about it is when you guys come together, something really big happens. The energies mesh, and it creates a space where healing can take place. It's like having a gate of grace on steroids. And boy, we can do some stuff. We haven't had a large amount of folks together since the Colorado event when the Diksha folks joined us. And then, of course, the years previous, the numbers went down again, of course. Hang on, I'm thirsty. Trustworthy coffee. Anyhow. But if you notice the things that were happening after those larger events, life got a lot easier. And after this particular event, I've noticed the more I go into the Da'at, the easier things come to me. And the more I'm encouraged to go back into the visits. I'm going to be resurrecting some of the older teachings that have been completely laid to the side. There have been some things that we just completely forgot. Like I'll lay one of them on you, angelic armor. It was actually put in one of the AccuTuning manuals. If you don't have the AccuTuning manuals, chances are you probably don't have the information about angelic armor. I brought this up before in one of the talks that I had, but I'm going to touch on it a little more. It's important that we remove all of the blockages that we have keeping us from our greatness. We always, for some reason, we seem to be looking for something outside of ourselves. Like for ourselves individually, you know, we're running from healer to healer, from teaching to teaching, and kind of trying to find what we can. And all of the teachings that you run into, if they're decent teachings, they're going to lead you right back to yourself, okay? So when Michael says you're perfect, whole, and complete, and you're all you need to be, the last part is really the truth. You are all you need to be. Sometimes your Wi-Fi will skip. Cindy's saying there I go, dazed again. Oh, wait. You're not, you're dazed. You're not freezing. Okay. Let me just continue what I was saying about the angelic armor. When you tune yourself and then you start removing your angelic armor, you're removing aspects of things that were in your way. And it's important to at least have the knowledge of this stuff. You don't have to run out and get it done because you have to use a lot of oil. And if you don't have the oils and you need to go out and buy them in one single swoop, it's a big ticket. You can get all the oils and forks on angelicgate.com if that's something you want to get involved in. And we do a lot of support too. So if you do have forks and oils and you don't know what to do with them, text me, call me, whatever. We'll help you. Back to the angel armor. When you put the oil on and the tuning forks go on specific spots, the angel comes into that area and removes the blockage, okay? So you start becoming more authentic with yourself and others. And, even though we think we can be authentic with ourselves, sometimes we can trick ourselves, we go through learning curves, Everybody has to go through a learning process of some sort. One of the major benefits of having the angelic armor done is it takes out a lot of your own footwork. It removes our obstacles from your path so that you don't have to deal with them. We have things in our contract that we added just for flair and pizzazz and stuff like that. It sounds like a good thing at the time. And we haven't accomplished a lot of the major things in our contracts, so we're allowed to do those things. We also have contract removal. I've talked about that before. Real easy thing to do. But again, the angel armor is something I'd like to encourage you guys to look into and do. It will remove our obstacles. So here we are in October. We have June, July, August, September, October. 5 months we've been back from the Eden event, no visits, and I'm going to go with my first suspicion. We've been given so much information over the last 20 years that it's just us picking up tools and doing something with them. And I know a lot of you folks are doing them. I'm aware of several gatherings that are coming along. Do you mean grounding or... Cindy Parfit's asking, do you mean grounding or protecting yourself from outer crap? The armor that you put on protects you from the outer crap. It makes you numb to stuff. It makes you not as afraid as you would be without it at the time. We put this armor on ourselves to protect ourselves from the outside world. An example of someone with a lot of armor is someone you don't really see. They're there, but you don't see them. They're kind of dark. They never have anything positive to say. They're always off in the distance somewhere. They're just like to be left alone. People that are susceptible to depressions, anxieties, things of that nature, quite possibly have a buildup of armor on them. People have been through traumas and growing up, especially kids going through, separation from parents, fostering, adoption, you name it. There's a plethora of things that could happen. Hey, my brother's here. Hey, dude, I'm representing Monster Seal all the way. Hey, Brian. Okay, so there's that. Did that help answer your question, Cindy? No? Okay. Anyhow, I hope that answered your question. If not, type to me and I'll see if I can finish that. Nutrition, something that also has fallen by the wayside. Way back when Robbie made these manuals for the 7 sacred herbs, and last year Gabby was supposed to teach something on it. Unfortunately, she had a medical condition come up that kept her from putting together her product, or her project that she was going to. Thank you. Yes, Professor. That's cute. It has a ring to it too. Gabby had a thing come up to where she couldn't get prepared in time to present at the event. A lot of folks were really disappointed. I talked to a few folks that actually came just to listen to her talk, but that's okay. They got to talk to her because she's cool. Back in 2001 or 2002, we started receiving visits from Joe, or from Michael. Michael was informing Joe on these herbs, and Joe would inform Robbie on the herbs and what Michael said about them, and she put together a program, and you take these herbs in a series of 28 days. There's it's kind of a complicated system, but once you get it down, then you get it down, and basically it goes by your church. And what happens during this time when you're consuming these herbs, they're herbs you can get at the store. They're not something that you have to go and mail off to China for or anything like that. It's pretty common stuff. I didn't have a hard time finding any of the things. Now, how to consume them, that came up as question, but now that we have a lot of new types of chefs and things of that nature, people are now utilizing different types of herbs and foods and cooking things. Yes, Cindy is herbs. There were 49 sacred herbs that Michael had shown Joe in a visit in 2002, and these were to help bring health back to our body. Now, these herbs also included yogurt and fish. And if you notice the rest of the stuff, you'll have to, I encourage you to go and read the visit. It's in 2002 on angelicgate.com in its entirety. And it was devoid of meat. And what he had said that was meat has become unfitting for human consumption. There's violence in the harvesting of it, and that violence goes into the meat, and then we're consuming it, and guess what? We got a violent world. So here we are. Then after a period of time, he gave some helper herbs, which were, if I remember correctly, another 49 helper herbs, like broccoli and cauliflower and things that you add to the foods that you already have, peppers and things of that nature. Anyhow, the visit depicts that pretty well. I'm going to see if we can get that manual resurrected. I don't know how successful we can be on doing that. It might take some negotiations. Robbie wrote it, and I don't know what the situation is, if she wants to republish it or what. Honestly, haven't asked her. Don't have her phone number. Also, during that time, after about 2-3 years after that time, we started getting information about water, and that's when Joe started getting visits about the hydrogen peroxide and the laminar crystal, and that's when he called me to help him figure out how to make the laminar crystal, and then I had to call Jim Carter, and I got the formula from Jim, gave that to Joe, and then he started making diamonds, I started making stars and pendants and stuff like that. Hi, Kathy Newton. And then he informed us that the laminar crystal puts life force into food. Like when you go to consume something, if you set the tile or the star or the diamond next to or in the food that you're about to consume, what happens is it puts life force into the food. All the products I make, they all have the same life force giving thing. Now the shapes may give it a different feel, may have a different type of a purpose, but when you have laminar crystal, it's very easy to work with. It teaches you how to work it. And you can learn more about that on angelicgate.com. But the main thing is that's right in that area is when we were getting the information about the water to wine, where we would pray and we would send grace into water and say a blessing, and it would become thin and sweet like dew and have life force. And they encouraged us to do that to everything, of course. But nutrition is very important right now. I'm seeing online where people are having, energy things happening where they're really tired or they've got too much energy, mostly not enough energy. And then, of course, chaos comes in. Now, I want to remind you guys that are having chaos in your world right now. Michael said many years ago that anytime anything great is about to happen, chaos comes in, okay? It's not a test. It's not God punishing you. How you feel about it is going to be your outcome. When the old stuff starts breaking away and falling away, we think we need to grab it and scoop it back up, and it's something we may have worked for, or something that we actually have some feelings for. Just let things happen, let them fall away. If they're serving to you, they'll still be there when you get through your lessons. I don't know, I just wanted to throw that in there because there's a lot of chaotic things going on right now. But I'd like to figure out a way to systematically bring this stuff to the new people so that, I'm going to come up with a list of things of how we came about this stuff so that you can just click on a page and, hey, we got this first, I'll do that. We got that second, I'll do that. Because sometimes we want to go a little bit more forward in the work than what we're ready for, and the basic stuff gets you prepared for the stuff that we're doing now. It's still important to, take care of yourself and your body during these times, especially if you've been around for a long time too. It's important to remember to stay hydrated, remember to eat good food, remember to have good thoughts. Take trips into nature, take naps. Naps are good. The main thing is eat good food, drink good water. Stay the heck away from the news. That stuff really kind of gets my energy down. I get all bummed out and tired after that. So, anyhow, here we are 5 months into, after the event. We got no visits, which is cool. Which tells me that, you know all you need to know. And if you guys are aching for a visit, just go back and play Visit Roulette like I do. Go onto the page where all the years are on there and just sort of scroll up and down, close your eyes and click Visit Roulette. And then just read all of those. And you'll find stuff. We're all getting older. No, just you, John. Just you. No, I'm kidding. Look at the beard. It's like gray. When I met you, I didn't even have gray in my beard. So, and I hope I age like you, John. You're good. You're aging well, buddy. You look great. So, I don't know how much more I got about anything. Does anybody have any questions? Cindy, do you have any questions? Gotta ask Cindy first, John, you never ask questions. Why don't you ask me something? All right, let me see if online's catching up faster than offline. Apparently not. All right. I think that Michael is watching to see where this stuff goes. Well, you would think so if he was actually making a list and checking it twice. No, he gave us a bunch of stuff, and what we choose to do with it is what we choose to do with it. Maybe he is waiting to see what we do with what they gave us. They gave us the Da'ath, which I don't know if you guys know how powerful of a tool this is. This is something that people work on. The Kabbalah is a lifelong study, and there have been people bringing... there have been people trying to get into the Da'ath all of their lives, and we were given carte blanche to going into the Da'ath. The only exception that they gave us was that we go in and observe and absorb. Don't go in to interact and things like that, whatever works. If you go in and you want to interact with things, that's up to you. But the recommendation from Michael was observe and absorb. And when you go in there, you're absorbing that energy. And I don't know how many people are doing it. I'm sure we'll find out at some point in time. I know myself as a gatekeeper, I haven't been invited to go and help people get into the gate. That's not something, or get into the Da'oth. It's not something we were told to charge to do. As far as the class went, I spent $1,000 to learn how to do this thing. John Sams, could you give us a short or long instruction on how to go into the Da'oth again? Yes, I can. But I need to warn you guys beforehand, if you haven't been let into the Da'oth by a gatekeeper, you're not going to go in, okay? You'll need the Da'oth tuning fork, and you'll need to have been previously allowed in by a gatekeeper. Cindy actually came and visited me. She wasn't able to make it to the event this year because of health issues. I let her in. I put her into the Da'oth, and she ordered her tuning fork. She goes in at will. So that's how you do it. Basically, you just got to get in once. All right. So when entering the Da'oth, you want to close your eyes, and you'll place into your mind a bubble. Okay. And you can make the bubble about the size of a basketball if you want. Me, I just go for the full-size bubble. I just imagine the full-size, I'm walking into the bubble thing, and the darn thing appears, okay? So I'll tune myself, go up, down, around, and down, and you're in. Go into my, center myself. I noticed when I tune my chakras, I have a little bit different of an experience. Things are a little more clear to me when I tune my chakras before I go in. So there's a side note. Notice your ball, okay? You're in there and you're noticing your ball and you're growing it large enough for you to get into it. And then you just simply walk into it. You'll feel the energy shift. You'll feel the calm come over you. Just observe and absorb. What I noticed the first few times I went in was the swirling purple, black, whatever. It looked like walls. For me, when I go in there, I see a workshop and a guy sitting at the workshop. And the last couple times I went in, it was just a plain room. And I could see that there was an opening over there to where I can go outside if I wanted to. I just stayed where I was because nobody told me to do anything. I have interacted with a few beings in there. I got some cool instructions on a couple items I'm working on. I think you guys will get the same. Does that help you, John? Maybe he got knocked off. Don't be knocking off my John, buddy. All right, so in order to get in there, create your bubble. Absolutely, thank you. Great. Create your bubble, get into your space, and go in. Now, remember, you only want to go in for about 15 minutes. 10, 15 minutes. I go for about 10 minutes. And that's about it, really. I just set my alarm to something soft, and then it lets me out. Because I'll just stay in there all day. I'll just nod off and fall asleep, and that's not productive for me. I'm utilizing this. Oh, by the way, I like to do it in the morning because your day's starting, and you'll have that creative energy throughout the day. So it just sort of made sense. Joe had suggested to do it in the morning, and I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. Let's do that. Why not? Again, I haven't ventured into the other spheres. I know you can go into them. It's just a matter of, I've been learning my way around the Da'oth first, personally. I like to absorb things, just like they said to do, but I like to see what I'm getting into. I'm thinking I might dabble into the other spheres at some point. Put my head down, please. My mother is telling me to show you guys my hat. I already showed Brian. I'm representing Monster Seal. Love you, Ma. Oh, yes. Anyhow, so going into the DAW-OFF on a regular basis, I give it 2 thumbs up, and things are going pretty well. Talking to Joe today, still haven't got a etched in stone, poured in concrete place, but there is one that we're really looking hard at, and they're giving us a bid, and if it's the bid that they said that they were going to give him, it's going to be a good thing for everybody. So it's close to everything, and it is near Colorado Springs. I think it's in Colorado Springs. So if you live near there, it's going to be an easy run. Let's see. Is there anything else, Cindy, that you want to ask about? How about you, Jack? Do you have any questions? You always have a good one. Including nature. Are you asking about what I saw, or going into nature? I don't understand the question, John. The setup in Colorado Springs, including nature? I don't know. I don't know. The place that we're looking at is another hotel, and oh yeah, it's Colorado. Colorado's totally nature. Colorado Springs, you can't help but see nature. You can get to the Garden of the Gods very shortly from where we're at. Lots of hiking. There's the Black Forest. There's a really awesome barbecue joint right there as you come into the Black Forest. What's the name of that place? You worked there. I know. Oh, well. It's on the road in. You can't miss it. It's got the biggest freaking smoker in Colorado, man. Firehouse Barbecue. Yeah, I think that's what it is. It's really, really good. Hotel location you're talking about in Colorado Springs, is there at least some nature? Yes, absolutely. I don't know if we're doing it inside or outside, because I don't know what we're doing next year. We haven't gotten any. Joe hasn't gotten any instructions on anything yet. But he is moving things forward by securing a place, going as business as usual, because that's what we need to do. Joe did seminars for LifeSpring for 20 years before he did the conferences for the Masters. So it's not like, he's a spring chicken at doing this. He kind of knows what he's doing. He's got a lot of experience in it, doing it for, finding places for Love, Life, and Light and different, or not Love, Life, and Light, excuse me, for LifeSpring, for trainings of LifeSpring. Anyhow, so we covered the DAW-OFF. We covered the weather stuff that I wanted to talk about. We covered the angelic armor I wanted to talk about. There's another thing that I ran across in the teachings, and I was taught how to do this some years back. I don't know how many people were taught how to do it, but I've taught a few people how to do it. Angel Gate readings. Okay? This is where you use a deck of ordinary playing cards and a deck of oracle cards if you want. They will help you. But mainly what it is a deck of, I use a deck of playing cards and a deck of oracle cards from Doreen Virtue. One of her 10 or 15,000 decks of cards that she has. She's got a deck of cards for every day of the week. Anyhow, yeah, lay it on me. There's a pattern that you set your reading in. Now, I'm not going to go over it on the video because it's just a little more complicated than just talking about on the video. There's some nuances in there that you need to know. But that's something I am willing to teach privately if you would like done. I have a series of classes that I've put together if people want to have me out for the weekend, and we'll sit and talk story and do a lot of teaching stuff and learn about tuning forks and oils and things of that nature in an order. There goes Carol. She's sneaking out to have a cigarette.
Are you still watching?
No, she just walked by. It was funny. Call me. Basically what this is it's about a 28, the readings are done with a 28-day cycle in mind. And a 28-day cycle in mind. And the cards are placed in the shape of the gate, and then you have these 3 spare cards, which are your blessings, your gifts, and your deeds. Now, Michael taught Joe how to do this some years back, and I learned it right away. It's not so he was told to put it in a book so others can learn about how to do it. Excellent, John. I love you, man. Bless your heart. And give that beautiful wife of yours a hug for me, and have her give you a hug. All right. So, Marlene and John are awesome. Love you guys. The reading thing worked out really well. And what happens is you don't do this reading thing a lot for people. It's something you do about, every 28 days. Right back at you. It was given to help us move forward on our path so that we don't have to look for outside things coming in, because it's basically the reading is for you and through you. You do it for yourself, and you can do it for others, by the way. This is something you can do for others. I was doing them at fairs for quite a while, and it seemed to work out pretty well. My brother Brian got very proficient at it. He continued doing it for years after I did it. I think he just recently stopped like 3 or 4 years ago when he was going through some of his stuff. And I think he's going to start doing it again. And he's pretty clairvoyant as it is. Both of us have always had a clairvoyancy. We just don't really necessarily utilize it all the time for others. It's just, something that we use when we need it. Wonder Twin power. Anyhow. So that's another angel bomb, as we could say. They're all over the place. Every time Michael comes, he gives us stuff that will move us forward in ways that we couldn't do by ourselves without the information. So, does anybody else have any questions? I see John and them are taking off. Haven't really been talking that long. Are you laughing, Cindy? Of course you are. You're always laughing. Well, that's about all I got tonight, kids. I wanted to lay a few of those things on you. The next one will be... Oh boy, looks like Michael's Day. We're going to go with November 1st. Thursday, November 1st, 2018. Yeah, you are still here. No, you were asking if we're going to the YMCA in Colorado. No, we're not going back there again. We kind of freak those people out. It's awfully Christian over there, and, well, they don't really want to take the time to understand us. They just wanted to deflect us, so we don't go there anymore. Great place, though. They have all kinds of stuff going on there, and the energy is... I say you're an orange. No, you show up as an orange, Cindy, and that's how you've always shown up to me. You're always like that. But, if you're whoever you say you are, I'm going to believe you. So, right. Anyhow, John and Marlene, want YMCA. Go book it, babe. No, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if that's something we can do. We don't have the numbers that would support that. That was really a detriment to Joe and Robbie. I had actually bailed them out quite a bit. That was at a time where I had a lot of money available and we were able to bail them out of that particular one. It was really expensive to go there. Just the whole thing was way over budget and way under attendance. So I know it's tough sometimes. So we're trying to find places that'll fit into the budget. And if he gets zinged with only 100 people, then we're only going to have to take part-time jobs, not full-time jobs in between to pay for it. So, because it's not that, it's, you know, it's really expensive to get one of these things going. So, all right. Anybody got anything else? Well, yes, maybe. Want me to tell a joke? No, I'm not going to tell a joke. I have dirty jokes, and then this is getting recorded, so anyhow, I have coffee. That's the main thing. All right, so let's recap of what we've talked about. We've talked about the weather patterns and how the masters can affect the weather and the balance of the planet, as well as the minds of the leaders of the world. The more we come together, the greater amount of energy come together, and we can alter and change the pattern of the world. Then we talked about the angel armor, which I have brought up before, and I'm bringing it up again because it is an important process that you can go through. Yes, it's a lot of oils. Yes, it's a lot of sitting around, and yes, you need 2 people to do it. It's important if you want to grow and learn and tell a joke. Oh God, now I got to think of a freaking joke. I was just joking. Oh, let's see. How many yellows does it take to tell a joke? I don't know. I'm just joking. I don't have a joke for you guys. Not one off the top of my head that I'm going to say publicly with people listening. So, anyhow, okay, so we went over the angel armor, which is important. Tuning yourself on a daily basis, very important. Nutrition could be one of the missing elements that we've sort of set aside when we stopped really going after when Michael gave the 7 sacred herb information, which is actually like 49 or 80 or something like that, he said that the herbs are for you to help accept the energies as they come in. And I notice when I don't do the herbs and things like that, when the energies come in, I go into freak out mode just like everybody else, you know. Some of us handle it well, some of us don't handle it well. Some of us just throw up our hands and say, I'm going home, bye-bye, and they don't come back. So that could be a result that happens as we don't do that. It goes for Halloween. Get your sheet together. No, I'm not going to be a ghost for Halloween. So Carol's got that already figured out. I don't really have much to do with what I'm going to be for Halloween. She was trying to get me to be Robin. I'm not going to be Robin, I'll tell you that. I'm not Robin. I think I'm going to just dress like this. I'll just be a sociopath or a homicidal maniac. They look like everyone else. So, anyhow. Well, I've enjoyed chatting with you guys and bringing up some of the things to help you guys move forward in your lives and bringing the work to everybody that you can carry it to. Bring the work to anybody who will listen. And, set up your gates of grace. Set up a gate at home. Tell your friends about gates. If you don't have a gate, go to angelicgate.com and buy one. I got a whole bunch of them. I got a whole box full of them. Or a light worker. Diet or a light worker. Yes, anybody needs their diet a proper diet. Anytime you're running energies, anytime you're doing anything, Reiki masters, quantum touch, whatever there's so many of them. Get your nutrition together, man. It's important. Sleep is very important. I've had sleep deprivation before. It's not a fun game. Kind of drives you nuts. I see Mary Shipley. Feel like Miss Ann on Romper Room. Romper, bumper, stomper, boo. I see Jack and Carol and John and Marlene. All right, so anyhow. All right, I don't see any other questions. I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. I'm going to think of another subject for the next time. Keep you guys riveted. Because there's so much to these visits. And really, honestly, as I was going through the visits, there's a lot we kind of left to the wayside. So, no problem. You got Dave, the archive guy. I'll dig the stuff up, throw it in the air, see what you guys can grab. It'll be awesome. And give another shout out to Monster Seal. Thank you very much for the hat and all the cool stuff. Remember, proper nutrition. Get your water. If you need water stars or diamonds, go to Angelic Gate and get them. If you need any other stuff, it's there too. I like the necklace too, Cindy. Thank you. I made it myself. All right, so we're going to go ahead and meet back here on November 1st at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. And you guys in between figure out where you're going to be. So, thanks again for stopping by. And as always, if you need to get a hold of me, email me, call me, or text me, or message me through Facebook. My blessings, my gifts, and my deeds are of you. Bless your hearts. Have an awesome night.